If you ask somebody about their suggested starter ship for Star Citizen, you'll often hear the Avenger Titan mentioned, but her sister ship, the Avenger Stalker, offers something slightly different for players who are looking to lean into the Avenger series. Which naturally prompts the question, how does the in-game performance stack up for the Avenger Stalker? I'm Forrester, and in this video we'll explore the answer to that question by reviewing the currently flyable Aegis Dynamics Avenger Stalker, which is described as an interdictor. If you've seen other reviews on this channel, then you probably know what to expect, with this video following the usual format. It's split into 5 sections, starting with a ship tour, assessing combat performance, reviewing handling and visibility, looking at the operating costs before finally summarising. As always, I've included timestamps in the video description in case you want to skip ahead. And if you're one of the 72% of people watching who isn't yet subscribed to the channel, you might consider it, so you can be notified of future Star Citizen videos as they go live. And we'll start the tour of the Avenger Stalker by just doing a quick walk around of the ship. One of the hallmark features of the Avenger series is that black and white panelling, which looks almost like a space shuttle. We'll get into the ship by deploying a ladder on the left or port side at the front of the ship next to the cockpit. Climbing up the ladder takes you straight into the cockpit chair, ready to fly. Somewhat uniquely for the Avenger series, you can also exit the cockpit chair on the right or starboard side, which takes you into the body of the ship itself. The midsection of the Avenger is this nice little habitation area with a bed for sleeping in. And then moving to the rear of the Avenger Stalker, you see these numbered 6 bounty hunter pods. They can open up and you can have a look inside them. There's some nice little detailing around the ship, including some little screens that have no practical in-game purpose. But there's also a ramp at the rear that can be used to enter the Avenger Stalker too. By way of armament, the Avenger Stalker has a size 4 hardpoint on the nose and 2 size 3 hardpoints under the wings. By default, those are equipped with a Mantis and 2 Omniski 6s, all on gimbals. That firepower is complemented by 4 size 2 missiles under the wings, with the option to upgrade to either 8 size 1 or 2 size 3 missiles. That firepower is very reasonable for a ship at this size and price point. For context, that's a heavier armament than a Gladius or an Arrow. Coupled with 2 size 1 shield generators, which is the standard for smaller fighters, and the Avenger Stalker on paper looks set to do really well. And it can do. With a good pilot it works just fine and can fairly easily deal with medium threat combat missions. The Stalker is not as nippy as some of the dedicated fighters, which does impact combat performance, but comes equipped with all of the other tools of the trade. The Stalker, in line with the others in the Avenger series, has a bubble-style canopy right at the front of the ship, which makes for excellent all-around visibility. Although the console is fairly chunky, you can look up and over it if you're more interested in seeing what's around you. The straight line top speed of 1,307 meters per second is also competitive, giving the Stalker the option to chase down a good number of potential targets, which is very appropriate for an interdiction / bounty hunting ship. And there's more good news for handling, where at lower speeds, defaulting to 184 meters per second for SCM speed, the Stalker handles well, especially with judicious application of boost. And somewhat surprisingly, braking performance is fairly reasonable, with the Avenger Stalker able to slow down fairly effectively. By way of quantum travel, it's a slightly less than rosy picture, with the stock drive being rather slow and the upgrades having a limited range, but that's not unusual for ships at this size point. Thankfully, operating the Avenger Stalker is very cheap. Refueling is usually well within 100 Alpha UEC, with a full-on repair and restock perhaps pushing into 1000 Alpha UEC. Moreover, the Stalker does have some money-making options. There's room in the back for delivery boxes if that's your thing, but for many it'll be combat contracts, which the Stalker can handle fairly well, or at least fairly well for a ship of this size. By way of loadout changes, I'd highly recommend changing out the stock weaponry for laser repeaters, with size depending on your own personal preference for gimbal or fixed, as the ammunition for the ballistics sadly goes dry all too fast. I'd also change out the quantum drive for a mid-level model, probably a Spectre or similar, to balance range with speed. And if you're planning to use the Stalker as a daily driver, I'd definitely change out the shields from the stealth models to military grade models, like the FR-66. In terms of how the Stalker performs, it's a lot of positive news. The Avenger Titan is touted as one of the strongest ships to start the game with, and the Stalker inherits a lot of that. The 50-second reclaim timer means you're not going to be sat around for a long time waiting for the ship to be returned, and with smart engagements, it's quite possible to fight larger targets than you might expect. The internal area is a real plus, not to mention the bed, and unlike the Mercury Star Runner, you can choose to exit the ship via the ramp at the rear or a ladder right by the cockpit. The real challenge for the Avenger Stalker comes in the form of the Avenger Titan, for which all of the aforementioned statements also apply. The Stalker sacrifices the cargo carrying capability in favour of 6 bounty hunter pods, which in the current patch have next to no use for day-to-day gameplay. And the stealth components are also not as useful in the current patch as some might hope for, so the minor upgrade in stock equipment is also not a huge boon. And the Stalker also carries an increased price tag, coming in at 882,000 Alpha UEC in-game, which is 100,000 more than the Titan, or $60 as standalone, which is $5 more expensive than the Titan. All of that is to say that the Avenger Stalker is for the most part still a great ship. It's just sadly more expensive for what is currently less functionality than the Avenger Titan. At least in my opinion, but maybe you think differently. I look forward to reading your thoughts in the comments section. And once again, if you're not yet subscribed, you really might consider it if you got this far, as I have a few more Star Citizen ship reviews you can expect over the coming months. It'd also be really helpful if you would press that like or dislike button to guide me as to what videos you're enjoying the most, so I can tailor them to you. Otherwise, and as always, thank you for watching.